Hello everyone and welcome back to episode number 7 of American Hedgehog Warrior. Bob, this is one that the folks have been asking for as we now have two impressive athletes battling to be the quickest hog to make it through the course and down to the ground. Our veteran warrior Pepper does have a competitive hedge though, particularly pertaining to past performances, which poses a prickly problem for the new toast of the town, the tough and talented Tuck, who's trying to take the title. P&T alliteration aside, I think the folks are in for a treat. Now, since Tuck was victorious in our first Hedgehog bowling competition, he earned the right to start us off, but whoever said chivalry is dead has never met Tuck. Since he was raised to be a gentle hog, he's opted to let our lady go first as Pepper kicks off the action. And you may have noticed our producers have upped the production value as our fan base continues to grow, and we've added a new on-screen timer so there's no question who the victor is when the dust settles. And Pepper had no problem at all getting through her first obstacle, the Leapin' Log Lagoon, as she makes her way up the armrest of the love seat and climbs right onto the double barrel bridge without missing a beat. And she's not easily distracted by the end table decoy below her as in prior courses, as we watch her shimmy across the tightrope and down onto the big sofa. And as we look back at the replay, some fans expressed concern about her falling, but as you can see, she has great balance, takes it nice and easy, and makes it across while maintaining an excellent pace as we pass the 30-second mark. Pool Noodle Mountain is not typically a problem for Pepper, but it has been 6 weeks since she did her last course, so a little bit of rust is to be expected. It seems like the slippery black tape is hog-tying her a bit though and slowing her down, but she does make it to the peak, and she carefully descends down to the other side of the mountain where she can sense that a brand new obstacle is up ahead. And we'll take a quick peek at the replay, and it seems like she opted to use the back of the sofa as leverage to get up to the top this time. We've mentioned in the past that a hedgehog's vision is not the greatest. In fact, they're nearly blind, and they're nocturnal, so they see better in total darkness, but it is around 6 a.m. when we film these, as that's when they seem to be the most active. Now, the new obstacle was the wobbly wooden walkway, but it turned out to be too wobbly, so we used a couple of pool noodle support pilings underneath, and that gave Pepper the stability she was looking for to get across to the coffee table, where the fans are lined up on both sides as we approach 1 minute 15 seconds on the clock, still maintaining a fast pace. And look at this, Bob. Some may recall course 4 where Pepper had a lot of trouble getting up the slippery slope, but she clearly learned from her mistakes, and where there's a quill, there's a way, as she makes great use of the left grip strip this time around as she heads into the final stretch of the course. Now, another new obstacle faces her as she enters the puny cup maze, looking like a giant among these puny cups. Our producers created several dead ends, but fooled she was not, as she climbed right over it as if they weren't there. And as you can see, folks, she is at the ramp to the Super Duper slide, which is the last obstacle of the course. Her quick time is going to set the bar high for Tuck, but she's wasting a lot now as she heads back into the puny cup maze for some reason. And we can only wonder what could possibly be worth adding all this extra time, and I can't even believe it, Bob. Here we go again. She navigated all the way back through the maze just to try to knock the pillow off the table for the umpteenth time. Now, we saw this in course 5, if you recall, where she destroyed the super slide ball pit for no other reason other than the pillow was below it. But this time it seems like it's Pepper's way of intimidating the youngster Tuck, who's watching from afar. Luckily for Pepper, we hadn't thought this far ahead, so there really is no penalty for this egregious behavior, just some extra work for the producers to reset the course, and it looks like she's finally heading back towards the Super Duper slide. Now keep in mind, the clock will not stop until the hog hits the ball pit, so in spite of the excellent time that she was making, this little stunt will certainly hurt, and it could even cost her the win, so we'll have to see if it comes back to bite her. And she looks to be lollygagging a bit on the ramp to the slide as if the clock is not still ticking, so she'll need to focus a little more. But here she comes to the top as she places her paws, preparing for takeoff, and there she goes. You know, Bob, despite the pillow fiasco, she ends up finishing with a very respectable time of 2 minutes and 46 seconds. So Tuck will still have his work cut out for him as the inexperienced rookie, but let's see how he handles the pressure. And he's off, folks, as Tuck enters the Leapin' Log Lagoon for the first time. And instead of going under the bar, it looks like he decides to do some chin-ups on it. Not sure that's going to help his time, but maybe it's an ego boost for the young stud to display his strength in front of the lady hogs of the crowd. And Tuck's inexperience is showing a bit while he tries to figure out his next move after embarrassingly falling from his makeshift chin-up bar, as he finally appears to make it to the exit of the lagoon. A quick look back at this interesting maneuver, and you can only wonder if Tuck was trying to hog all the attention by showing off, perhaps? Who knows, folks? Either way, he quickly makes his way towards the armrest, already trailing Pepper's pace as we cross the 30-second mark, so we'll see where he can try to make up some time. And it looks like he slips a little bit as he tries to get onto the double barrel bridge, but now that strength is coming in handy as he manages to hold on and pull himself up. You may have noticed the floating hand of our spotter there, which is why the hogs aren't in danger if they were to slip, as the floating hand is always close by to catch them. And after the slow start, he turned on the turbo boosters as he zipped across the double barrel bridge and quickly scaled Pool Noodle Mountain with ease. As we look back at the slow-mo, you can see Tuck had no problem climbing up and over to help make up some of that time as he now encounters the wobbly wooden walkway. And again, no hesitation as he steps right up on it and flies across in no time. Let's take a peek at the replay from overhead as we see no fear from the little guy and a good job picking up the pace as we pass 1 minute and 10 seconds on the clock. And unlike Pepper, Tuck could not resist the urge to slither his way into one of the invisible tunnels. If you recall in his first course, he briefly popped his head in, but he realized this was not the way, and now he seems to be feeling frustrated, flustered, flabbergasted, fed up, and fooled in front of his fans, as he can't figure out how to get himself out of this mess. And it looks like he's trying to turn his body inside the tunnel rather than just backing his booty out. Maybe there's a method to his madness, but all the time he made up has just gone out the window, so he'll need to flip those turbo boosters back on to keep himself in the contest. And he finally pops himself out and quickly realizes he has to make his way up the slippery slope, but much like Pepper's first encounter in Course 4, Tuck is having a bit of trouble getting his footing. He's not utilizing the grip strips, which are there to help him get a grip, though it seems like he may have figured it out now as he approaches the famous pillow that Pepper tried to destroy. And as we look back, you see he stayed between the grips on the slickest part of the slope, so it's no wonder he was slipping back down until he finally realized that was getting him nowhere fast. And here he comes into the home stretch as we pass 2 minutes on the clock with Pepper's time at 2:46. So he's got less than 40 seconds to get through the puny cup maze, up the ramp, and down the super duper slide to beat her time. And like Pepper, Tuck just climbed right over the puny cups as well. He did miss the ramp as he looks down to the ground below, but he's still in good shape with about 25 seconds to work with. And what the heck is he doing now, Bob? He's heading back into the puny cup maze like Pepper did. Talk about monkey see, monkey do. What a stroke of luck for Pepper as we wait to see if he's going after the pillow as well. And oh no, he just intentionally pushed Harry the Hedgehog off the pong table for no reason whatsoever. Oh, hold on. I'm being told by the booth that Harry muttered something under his breath as Tuck passed him earlier, but we'll have to look more into that. And we have a nail biter here, folks, as Tuck gets to the top of the ramp, but remember, the clock doesn't stop until he hits the ball pit. And there he goes, but too little too late, as his final time is 2 minutes and 50 seconds. So his desire to go after Harry cost him the win. You couldn't script it any better than this if you tried, folks. Let's hear it for our winner and still defending champ Pepper for squeaking out the win by only 4 seconds, and for Tuck as he gave it his all as well. Please remember to follow or subscribe to My Friends Call Me Pepper on social media and YouTube. On behalf of Bob and myself, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.